beat a really good team today. I think that Ohio State, you can see how they were able to go to Purdue and win. They've had really a great season. They've only lost to one team in the league, and that was Penn State, who was our next opponent, and a terrific team as well. But they're really tough to score on. We need some magic in a bottle a little bit to just get ourselves going in the first half, get a lead, and Jordan Poole gave us some of that. It was a great team effort in every way for our team. I think the last, when they cut it to 4 and they had a foul shot, I think they cut it to 3. We made just about every good play you could make down the stretch to get the W. So, but hats off to the great year Ohio State's had. They'll continue to be a good team down the stretch. But I was really proud of the way we battled the whole time. You take a guy like Duncan Robinson, and it's okay. He's known. Well, he's senior night. He's going to hit some threes. Now he should be known for the job he did on Diop. I mean, he was absolutely terrific. He and Isaiah Livers just, now, did they shut him down? No. But they changed the momentum of the game when they took the top scorer in the league and marginalized him a little bit. So it's it was just a great effort by him, and then the Xavier, all our guys, Muhammad Ali with a big shot. I love to see those seniors come out. Jerron, when he was in there, he got us going. He gets us going a little bit better, and so really pleased with that win. We had a chance with Purdue to get a top 10 win and another top 10 win, and we didn't get it. This maybe makes up for that a little bit because we got a couple of those now, and we certainly helps in your resume.
Mike, you want to start us off?
Yeah, Coach, you mentioned Jordan Poole. What kind of spark did he give you guys today, just in terms of his creative scoring?
Well, we know he's going to shoot it, right? You know it, and I know it, and we're trying to find for him to understand what the best way for him to score, not just shoot. And he's learning that every day. But I love that he's got that swag to go in there. We talked last week, and I suggested that he work a little bit harder on his own time or in extra time in practice of just getting good, solid reps up and just trying to just get enough reps in so he felt more comfortable in games.
In the back TV with Justin.
Justin.
Mar didn't seem overly emotional after the game. He said that the mindset before the game was pretty much business as usual. Yeah. What about for you on senior night?
It's always emotional because now that you've had, some 40-some senior nights, and whether it was high school or junior college or all the levels of Division I, what's sad is they think this goes on forever, and I know that some of those seniors, some of the guys I've seen once since then, and that's it, the rest of their lives. The next 80 years of life, you might only see them one time, some of those people. So it's really important that we really embrace this one of these last opportunities to play a home game.
And over here with Max.
Coach, you said yesterday or Friday you were going to be emotional when Austin walked out. What were those emotions like?
They were. I mean, I was ready to cry. Somehow I choked it off, but I was ready to cry because it just. Many of you didn't have when the NCAA allowed me to go see him when he was finally out of the coma and see the last time I saw him, he was one of the best sophomores in the country, without question. He reminded me of a young Wally Serbiak, and he was tremendous. He just played a great team and dominated them. And now I see him, and he doesn't weigh 210 now. Now he weighs like 140. He can't eat the sandwich because he can't move it. He can hardly walk. He can move like 6 inches at a time when he walks. And when you see that, and then you see this, and his family and his fiancée Abby, I mean, it makes your heart warm. For if we've been a small part of his life is tremendous. He's been a huge part of my life and this team's life.
Chris?
Coach, what's been the difference for Duncan in terms of improvement on defense?
I think he's challenged himself, and we've challenged him to say, you can do this. This is not a matter of, they're picking on me type of attitude, which they do. You look at him out there and you say, okay, you watch his athleticism and you say, well, we're going to attack that guy. And so that was the MO on him for 3 years, attack him. And he sort of took that challenge on this year. And one thing with Diop was, if he can't get the ball, right, it's really hard for him to attack. Or if he gets it, and make him a multi-dribble player. But he did a wonderful job on him, and that's been a good reason why we've had success here in February is Duncan Robinson's defense. Not his threes, his defense.
We're here with Bojo.
We're just kind of following up on that, John. Are there some unique elements about this Michigan team compared to other Michigan teams you've had? I'm thinking defense, the young guys like Poole, unique elements?
Yeah, I think what I've learned over time, and I'm embarrassed to say this, is it's not, I was so much into technique and things like that, as there's a care level and a want to in defense that I think that my assistants have gradually, right, worked with our team and get to that point, and it's gotten better and better every game, every year. That this you get down to it and they realize all the pretty plays or all three-point shooting doesn't win games. That you got to be able to really defend. And we're usually, I was more in my earlier coaching career was more into technique and scheme, and I think much more is now. You got that guy. It's a personal battle. Who's going to win? And I think we've taken that on.
Stay here with Dan.
You mentioned getting the second top 10 kind of quality win. Given the way that the top half of the Big Ten is kind of picking each other off here in the past few weeks, what do you talk to about your players with the opportunity that they have headed into the tournament next few weeks?
Well, I think that the Big Ten is much stronger than people think. I think this is a Big Ten league of coaches where we were young. A lot of us had young teams and had tough matchups. And as a result, our resume isn't what it probably would be if we played all those teams now, right? I would love to play, the LSU in North Carolina and people like that now. I think we're a much better team. And so it's just we're playing this Penn State team. This Penn State team is gelled at the right time. They're tremendous. Maryland is really, they had injuries. Now they're gelling. It's really, the league is tough. I'll let everybody else judge whether it's tougher than other years and other leagues. But there's not many. If you watched the whole college basketball, I think yesterday I counted 6. There was maybe 10 or 12 top 25 teams, and 6 or 7 of them lost yesterday, and some of them at home. So there's parity here, and I believe our league reflects that.
Go in the back with Sean Windsor.
John, getting back to Muhammad Ali for a second, he's obviously played the shadow of a lot of good players over the years, and he might arguably be your best all-around player this year, or excuse me, this year. Today he goes for 17, the highest score, and yet we're in some ways talking about Poole step-back threes.
Yeah.
What is it about his play that leads him to be in some ways underrated?
I think it's his quality of play. He's leading the country and not turning it over. He's never going to be mistaken for this incredible point guard that sees the whole floor, but he makes the next right play, right? He does the next right thing all the way through his life, raised by great parents. So, but in his first 2 years, I could count on one hand the plays that I had for him. You had Karras, you had Derek, you had Zach, right? Then all of a sudden we got Mo and we got Charles and we got these guys that are scorers. And about a month ago I looked at, we don't have enough stuff for Muhammad, right? He's got ability to get places that other people can't get to on this team, and we started just doing more with him and giving him much more latitude. So, but all that being said, when he wasn't getting the opportunities to score, he still was very productive, and he never complained about it. He just wants to do the next right thing, and that's be a good team guy, a good captain.
Over here with Brendan.
When it comes to Xavier, from him being taken out of the starting lineup to all the way to now, how much of it is a point guard improving versus you as the coach catering some things to his particular skill set and things like that, kind of coaching around what he is and how he plays?
Yeah, you get into the season, and it's in at the beginning of the season in the summer, you're looking at things and you say, okay, we can develop this over time. Just be patient. And then you get to the point, it's not going to happen this year. So let's change and be okay with some things that he does. And so, but you never want to give up on it. You don't want to walk into a season and you say, okay, he can't do this, we're not going to do that. You're always developing it, but there comes a time in February where you change. I think you've asked this question before, that, all right, he can't do this, but he can do this really well. And let's go to that. We got a couple guys that love to go left, all right? So I'm probably not going to change that this year. So let's get some plays for them going to their left. And hopefully they can finish. So Xavier's one of those guys that we realize who he is, and we do know for sure he's a pit bull, and he is going to give us everything he can every minute.
In front was Zach?
You mentioned, LSU, North Carolina. You feel like you could take on a lot of teams that you might have lost to early in the season. I guess what has been the key to making this team continue getting better? And then looking at these final couple weeks before the tournament, I guess what sort of things stand out to you?
I think their attitude has. We're a big practice team. We went hard yesterday. The last 2 days we went really hard after a day off. Got a great coaching staff that values individual improvement just like I do. And so I think that's been a big thing. But then as time goes on, we had so many new pieces that they realize who they are. And once they're confident in that, once they're confident, Duncan, I'm more than just a shooter. Muhammad, I got stuff coming my way now. I can see the floor, etc. And Charles is growing. You may not see it because he had some bad turnovers today. He's growing every minute. He's averaging the same amount of assists right now that Zach Irvin had in a tremendous senior year. And so Charles is growing every day, and we see it.
Over here with Toomey.
Hey, Coach, last time I spoke with you, you told me about Muhammad was more of a tuxedo-type player. Can you tell us a little bit how he's grown?
Yeah.
How he's
He
grown
had the whole
since
thing
that
first year. He had the tuxedo brothers out here with him and a couple of those other freshmen. And no, it's diving on the floor, doing all the right things. He's just learned. He's been the model of, and you see this in college basketball all the time. The guy who comes in and gets who he is. He's not about get me to the pros and all these things. He is just about, Coach, make me better. I'm going to give you everything I have every minute. I'm not going to be a holler guy, but I still love the team and my teammates. And that's who Muhammad Ali Abdur-Rahman has been.
Right in the middle with Andrew.
Coach, last time I asked you, you said everything, but with only 2 games left in the regular season, where specifically do you think you can still get better, a lot better, I guess?
Foul shooting. Yeah. But we did get better. I told Xavier, right? I told Xavier 2 things today. I said, Xavier, I looked at stats from last year. There was a span you went 13 for 15 from the foul line. And I told him before this game, do you know going to the Big Ten, and one of you asked me, you were the leading 3-point shooting percentage guy on the team. Since then, he was like 1 for 18. So try and get them in this thing that they can make that they can do that. I think still, playing in the pick and roll is a geometry that I look at things, and we're doing some things I never would have thought of last year or the year before, of understand the geometry of a pick and roll, especially when you have a pick and pop type of guy. So I think just understanding angles and taking the ball to the basket really hard, but then also still be able to pass. That's it. We can, if we got an alley, we can lay it in. If it's obvious he's open, but getting 2 people to guard you and then find the open man. And then defense, we let guys back us down today. We still not physical enough, but we're more better than we were.
Thanks. And then whose idea was it to change Xavier's free throw routine? When did
that would be mine. That would be mine. I just decided to go rarely over. Actually, Patrick, my son, was watching him on TV. It's probably a violation. We had an extra coach here. He called me and he said, put more off his shoulder. He needs to go more off his shoulder. And so do it like you did to Scott Unger at Richmond. Right? He was lefty. So we did it. And he went 4 for 6, but I'm not taking the credit. He practiced it like crazy the last couple of days.
Got time for a few more. Back to you.
In the back.
I don't think the NCAA will take that win away from us. Yes, sir.
You've had guys like Austin and even Jude, around this program. What have they meant to your culture here in the past couple of years?
One of our core values is appreciation, without question, that our kids really appreciate it. Last night I told the story of Austin Hatch to our team one more time. Just told them, I want you to put yourself as an 8-year-old, I want you to put yourself as the best 16-year-old in the country, one of the best 16-year-olds in the country, and lose your mom and dad after you already lost your brother, your sister, and your mom. You watched them basically die. And I don't think our freshmen really understood it. They said, here's this kid with his tragedy. When you put yourself in that position. And they've been an incredible perspective. And then Jude, every time that you see Jude, with our team, this dude, he comes in, he's in his wheelchair, he's sitting there next to us every time. And I love that. I love the idea that our kids really understand appreciation. Because really, in reality, what happened to either one of those guys in their life, whether it's illness or whether it's a tragedy, could happen to anybody in this room. And we want to make sure that the kids on the team appreciate that. Could have been you, Muhammad, as a great sophomore, and this could have been you. right, that is in this situation. So I think we have a great appreciation of how great God's been to us.
We'll take two more. We'll go Nick and then Chris.
John, known you long enough to know that you're not going to talk about your resume or postseason or anything here this
You know
early.
that.
But at the same time, over the last month, with rare exception, you guys have handled your business the way the tournament team does. Do you feel like you're getting the rounding into form of?
Yeah, I do think that we're playing right we're playing the right way at the right time. But at the same time, there's a long way to go in all of that. These two road games are going to be really difficult. Sometimes it's not like who you're playing, but when you're playing them in the schedule and where you're playing them. That's different than many philosophies. I do believe in that philosophy that when you play so many games, there's some roadblocks that you probably can't perform out of or coach out of. At the same time, I think this was it was important that we didn't have bad losses, and it was important that we get more, and that we have 4 or 5 road wins, and I think it's very important that you beat another good team, home or away.
Down here, Chris.
This home state rivalry game probably would have been too big for Teskey last year. Can you just talk about it? It seemed like he was demanding the ball a little bit.
But when he goes and gets rebounds, you didn't see that before. He's still not there. I got high hopes for him. He's got to have a great summer. He's got to have a great spring and summer. But this game does mean a lot to him. Ohio State offered him a scholarship as well. So these guys that come in with that type of background from that state, this game means a lot to them. And he really was, with Mo in a little bit of foul trouble, and Mo just pushing on Wesson is going to tire him up. He's not going to make any threes if he's in a wrestling match. And so we want to make sure we gave him more rest, and Johnny was the perfect answer to give him more rest.